What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to break down the controller settings that I came up with, and I believe that this will help everybody out in the game, especially on PS5. Now, these are controller settings for PS5, and also I will show you the controller settings for Elite controller. If you don't have an Elite controller, that is fine. You just got to readjust some of the stuff with the back pedals that I have, but I will give you guys the basic controller settings that will help you guys through the game. All right, so let's go ahead and break down the settings. First, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the controller settings, and then I'll leave all the additional settings I have towards the end of the video. So we're gonna go ahead and say, all right, so my user settings is my presets. I will show you guys my presets for the Elite controller, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about the settings in the game first, okay? So I got the default settings because I'll explain why with the presets that I have, but the cursor speed doesn't matter because we're not using a mouse, we're only using controller. I got vibration off. Usually when you're playing FPS games, you want to turn off the vibration because it is a distraction with your fingers, and also it makes for a smoother gameplay. Adaptive triggers is on. Invert X and Y axis is off. You don't want to invert your stuff. What this means for those who don't know is that basically when you look up, you're technically looking down. Okay, it's basically the opposite, right? So my sensitivity is 60 for my X axis and 50 for my Y axis, and 60 for my X axis and 50 for my Y axis. Now, the reason why I have a slower like looking up and looking down is because you don't really look up and down that much. But if you do, 50 is I'm going to say the best. Well, it is the best for me, but it might be a little bit different for you. You guys just have to adjust. But for me, this is golden. Okay, 60-50, 60-50. Okay, this is golden. All right. So you want to have aim assist function on because when you're a controller player, it's a lot harder for you to aim with the controller. So aim assist is your best friend. So you want to have that on, and also use aim assist for hip fire as well. Okay. Now the camera auto rotate level, keep that at 50, and the aim sensitivity level, keep that at 50 as well. And the aim auto tracking level, keep that at 50. Now the reason why I want to go to 50 is because I think the default is at 80. So you want to go ahead and push it down to 50 because what this does is allow more freedom for you to aim yourself. Okay. You don't want too much of a strong auto aim or aim assist, because what it's going to do is it's going to basically stick to the target that you're aiming. And if you want to look at other targets really fast, it kind of like slows down that process. It kind of like feels like you got to force your aim to look at something else, right? So you want to go ahead and go for a perfect 50 here because it'll allow you that freedom. Trust me. All right. So these are the settings that I have for the game, for the controller part, but I will show you the main settings that I use to make my job a lot easier. I will show you guys the default settings, or the quote unquote user settings. They're basically the default settings here, as you guys can see. So nothing has changed here. So these are defaults, but I will show you why it's different from the Elite controller's perspective. Okay. Now to get to the Elite controllers, for those who are just now getting an Elite controller, for example, I'm going to go ahead and show you my Elite controller settings. So we're going to go ahead and go to accessories. Okay, so now we're going to the DualSense Edge wireless controller. This is where my Elite controller settings are, and we're going to go ahead and go to custom profiles. Now for me, I'm using the same one I always use for most of my games because I've been like getting used to this, and it also makes your job a lot easier when it comes to running. Okay, so you know how you always got to press the thumbstick when you're running? Well, not anymore, because that is now your left back trigger. Okay, you see how my L3 is my left back trigger. So let me go ahead and click on this real quick. Okay, so here are the settings. All right, so my left back trigger is my run button. My L2 is my L1 button. So it would allow me to aim. I'm using my bumpers to aim, on my left bumper to aim and my right bumper to shoot, as you guys can see. And then my R1 is my back right bumper. So make sure you guys take a screenshot of this. I'm just explaining the buttons to you guys and why they are where they are. Like I said, at the very bottom picture, you guys can see my back triggers, or my back buttons for my Elite controller is used for my right arrow and my down arrow. For you guys, you're just gonna have to find somewhere else to put it, or just deactivate it if you're not using it. So yeah, as you guys can see, this is where I customize it. But the most important thing is getting your run button to your left back trigger and your aim and your shooting to your bumpers, because this allows for a faster shooting time, because your bumpers take less of a press, I guess, or less of a press down to shoot or aim. So it's quicker response time, right? So that's why you do that. Unless you got trigger stoppers on your back triggers, then you can use that as well. But if you don't have any trigger stoppers, I highly recommend using your bumper, your left bumper and your right bumper to aim and shoot. Okay. So this is the settings. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you have any questions or confused of anything about my controller settings, let me know in the comments below. I will gladly answer that for you. And here are some additional settings from the game to help you guys get through that. All right, so the reason why I have the graphics setting as performance and race tracing off is because the game right now, the game is still fresh in the first week, and it still is causing crashes for me on the PS5 after the maintenance updates. So I had to turn off race tracing and put on performance instead of this one, because obviously it's just been crashing for me. Okay, so this is the best settings to not crash on the PS5 as of right now. Okay, so crossplay, gotta have that on. You gotta have everybody. I mean, it's a PvE game. There's no point of not having this on cross platform, because if this was a PvP game, it would be a lot different. But you can play with PC players with this. If you're on console, it wouldn't matter because it's a PvE game, right? So you want to have that on. Friend invites, usually keep that on. Yeah, all these chat invites, keep that on. Chat window transparency, have that on very high. Okay, you got to have that on very high, because you don't want your chat blocking your screen, right? You want to basically see through the screen. Chat text size, keep that on medium. That way, if you're playing away from your monitor or TV, you can still be able to read the chat. Weapon damage details, skill damage details, and show HP shield values, keep those on, because you want to go ahead and see what is doing what and how much damage you're outputting, especially, and also how much damage your skills are taking. For example, like Ajax and his shields. Okay, so show HP shield increase, decrease. You don't need that on, but if you want to have it on, you can. I just feel like it just causes too much of a distraction, so I keep that off. All right, all of these are left on default here with the control method, and that is about it. Now for audio, this is really up to you. There's no like best settings for audio. It's just whatever you want. The language is up to you depending on what language you speak. I usually have the mic on party channel because I'm not really talking to anybody outside my parties anyway. So I usually keep that on that. And also master volume is at 10. My music volume is off. I usually keep the music volume off because I don't want to get any copyright strikes as a content creator. So I always keep that on, keep that off. All right. Battle voice, always keep that on because you like to hear what your characters are saying during battle. Now, display settings don't really matter. Now field of view matters though. For console, it matters. I keep it all the way up to 120, and also on the PC, I highly recommend having your field of view all the way up because you want to be able to see everything around you. So just in case you're not getting shot in the back, you'll be able to see that. Sharpness doesn't matter. Now it depends on what equipment you have, and if you need to increase the sharpness to make things more clear, then you can do that. Now these settings are up to you. All right. So make sure you guys log into your account. If you guys haven't logged into your account for NEXON or haven't created a NEXON account, make sure you guys do that. This will allow you to play on multiple platforms. So I highly recommend that you do that. Okay. So that is about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.